What is up, No Nation? It's your boy Hunter from Filmnerdtv, and we are back with another episode of Halloween horror reviews. And tonight we are talking about It Follows. I am joined by, as always, by Russell Howell. How's it going, brother?
Good, man. Glad to be on again. I like this little thing we got going here with the scary movies. And it's fun to talk about something that not a lot of people talk about. So that's obviously 2014's It Follows. Looking forward to talking about it and just kind of diving a little bit deeper into it and just talking about our initial reactions on it.
Yeah, this is a movie that not a lot of people saw, but I feel like could end up being a horror classic later on down the line. So give your opening thoughts, non-spoiler, and a rating at the end, what you thought about this movie.
I enjoyed the different approach that it was going. It was something different. I remember watching it I remember the year it came out. I think I didn't see this one in the theater because I think it got a limited release. And I think it was very small opening, if I remember correctly. I bought it on DVD at a video store that sells used movies after they're out for so long. Watched it and was pleasantly surprised. It was one of those things where it's a completely different idea. We have a entity or a thing that follows you if you're sexually active or if you have sex, and it's passed on person to person, and that's kind of creepy when you think of it like that. That's scary, and it's one of those things where obviously, and it's prevalent with obviously the teenage community, because those are the ones that are obviously, the curiosity and just being sexually active for the first time and not knowing the type of danger that they could be getting into by doing that. I think it's kind of like almost one of those types of things. There's other hidden meanings to it too. And then just to me, it was just one of those movies that it worked. I like the synth music to it, like the 80s nostalgic type, that synth music, that synth instrumental music that you hear in a lot of films. I really liked that. I thought that was kind of unique at the time because that was before we were doing the retro 80s stuff. That was before the popularity of Stranger Things. That was the popularity before they did it in Strangers Pray at Night, that same type of 80s nostalgic feel. But it wasn't set in the 80s, though. It had that synth pop vibe to it, which was kind of cool. And overall, I don't know. The fact that you can only see the thing and nobody else can, I think, is creepy in itself. So then people already think you're like crazy for seeing stuff. So overall, like I said, I enjoyed the film. I really thought it helped put the horror genre back on the map because it was something fresh and unique. So yeah.
Yeah, this is this movie, I feel, did what Scream did for the horror genre. It took elements of the horror genre, turned it on its head, and really made a very unique type movie that will be studied for years to come. Because there's a lot of small details that you don't get on a first watch through. You gotta watch it multiple times to kind of catch everything about this movie. I actually saw this movie on Netflix way after it came out. Just searching for something to watch on Netflix, came across it, and I was pleasantly surprised about this movie. I had never heard anything about it up until that point, so I went in with fresh eyes, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. On my rewatch, I really noticed a lot of similarities between this and John Carpenter's The Thing. Kind of like it can change shape into whatever you may know or someone and you don't really know what's real, what's not when you first see it.
Yeah.
And then just that horror element of not knowing what the entity is, that where it's coming from, who has it possessed, stuff like that is very nice little twist to it. I also like, as you brought up, the music. The music is used so well, and it does harken back to early 80s, horror movies where you get kind of that almost electronic feel of music that really works for this movie. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. This is the movie that really harkened the horror renaissance that we have nowadays.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people talk about it, which is a damn shame.
Yeah, and I was reading online, like I think it only made like 23 million open, like which is nothing to bat an eye about. I mean, a lot of movies don't even make that. So
Yeah.
it was one of those ones that was just like kind of under the radar. It got really great reviews on. I mean, it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It got like almost a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. So I mean, the film is, you know, it was received pretty well with the critics and with the audience and stuff.
Oh yeah. So let's go into more spoiler territory. Talk about what you really loved about this movie. Go into much detail as you want.
I just really, I love the unique situation that we're in, and I really didn't realize that we spent a lot of time with Jay, the main character. I believe is Jay. Uh,
Yeah.
she's the one that contracts it from a guy, and I didn't really realize that a lot of that movie deals with her pretty much kind of running from it. I remember, like, I remember seeing it, but I just thought it was like it was passed on more than it was. You know what I mean? And then seeing it, and then some of the other little like things I appreciate, like were the callbacks to like, or just kind of foreshadowing, dealing with water, that they thought that was a way to kill the entity.
Yeah.
And the writing was on the wall, kind of, so to speak. It was literally was on the wall. I appreciate that. There's just different things watching it back a second time. Um, I love how they end the film, because so you don't know what happens. I like
Yeah.
that. Like, was that just a person, or was it legit still going on? I appreciated that. The whole leaving your kind of like making your own ending, so to speak. You know what I mean? I like that idea of it too, because the movie in itself was just so unique. So why not, bow out gracefully at the end like that? Set it up to be like, well, did it get him? Did it not get him?
Hmm.
That's open for interpretation, and I like that. I just like the direction it went with all that stuff. Like I said, just overall, I just like all that stuff. Um, I was just surprised again. Like I said, we were with Jay so much in the film, but she is, she's a good main character. She's just kind of coming into her own as a teenager, kind of like, it just as most teenagers are. I like her character though. I like her character. She's I wouldn't say relatable, but she's just, she's
He,
scared. She's
he's not a
Yeah.
dipshit, is what I
No,
also like.
but she's scared. She's scared. She's trying to figure out what the heck's going on, and she'll go
Mhm.
to any length to try to figure it out. And on top of it, she just doesn't pass it away, like pass it on. Like she could
Yeah.
have. And like in the situations like that, I'm thinking, why don't you just go and just sleep with random people and just get it done with? You know what I mean? Get it out of the way and done with. But she doesn't want to. Like, there's times where guys want to have, sex with her just to take it from her, just so that they could, you know what I mean? Not have to worry about it. And she has opportunities to do that, and she doesn't, because she wants to kind of figure it out herself. But there's a couple times, obviously, she gives into that. But what I'm saying is, I guess, but at the end of the day, she's just trying to figure out what the hell's going on and how the hell to handle it by herself.
Yeah. So if you want to, we can start from the very beginning
That's
and
fine. Yeah.
just. So it starts off in Oakland University. As you mentioned, Jay is our main character, played by, I'm gonna say her first name wrong. Is it Mika Moreau?
Let me look real fast. Dun, 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 dun. Uh, yeah, Micah Monroe.
Micah. Okay.
Micah Monroe. Yeah.
Um, so she's going on a date with her new boyfriend Hugh, played by, is it Daniel Zavato? I could be
Let's look.
very wrong.
Well, he's in it. He's not in it very. He's not in it very long. Hugh. Um. Yeah, Weary plays. Jake Weary
Yes.
plays. Hugh.
Yep. And they go on this date. They end up having sex in Hugh's car. Afterwards, I believe he uses a chloroform rag,
Yeah.
knocks her out.
Knocks her out and then drops her off.
I think they're at a park,
He drops her
like a
off.
little outside.
Yeah, I thought he dropped her off in the middle of the road. He just leaves her.
No,
Oh,
no. It says she wakes up tied to a wheelchair in Peckard Plant. There we go.
oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm thinking of the other girl that, or he after the fact. Never mind. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
about this.
And she's tied up in the chair, and that's when he lays out the whole details about this demon entity is following you. It only walks, which another harken back to like the Jason,
Halloween and Jason, yeah.
where they always walk, they never run.
Which makes it. I mean, it's kind of creepier in that aspect, just because of the fact that it does that. Yeah, it is a callback to Friday the 13th and Halloween. Also, the other thing is you feel like zero sympathy towards Hugh,
No.
just because of the fact that he knowingly gave this to her, and she obviously didn't know about it. They were just like on a date, and things happen. And oh, by the way, this is what happened. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things where one of those pretty much those one asshole moment, I guess, that Hugh has, and yeah.
Yeah, it was a real dick moment. But and then after he says that, he also says if it catches Jay, it will kill her, which we saw at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think they tell her name, but this one girl's running. She ends up with her leg. That scene is creepy as hell because her leg is like.
Oh, she's on the beach. You see her body. And
Yeah.
It's back or whatever.
Yeah.
Just another thing we should ad lib, or not ad lib, but just throw in there for everybody to understand. Basically, what this thing is it's contracted obviously via sex, and once you pass it on, you're not really in the clear, because if it kills you, it goes back to the person who gave it to you
Down the line.
So the thing about it is, like, you could pass it on and think you're done, but if that person dies, it reverts and goes back to you. So you're not really out of the woodwork, I guess, until probably a couple, like 3 or 4 people have sex. I think you would be kind of in a clear. But again, my thing is, you have to tell these people. I mean, that's the thing. The thing that they should have done, that I was thinking, was when they saw the prostitute. That would probably have been your best bet, to pass it to somebody like her, because she's obviously sexually active. She obviously has sex with multiple people.
Yeah.
It's been the smartest way to do it, just because of the fact that people that pay for sex usually do it frequently. So there's constantly that exchange of sex. So I think that would have been a smart way to do it.
Which that does come back at the end.
Yeah.
So the next day, I believe that's when she goes to the police. Police show up, realize, there's nothing that they can do about it because, it was consensual sex. And then they find out Hugh was living under a false identity, which we find out his real name later on in the film. And then while Jay is at is she at a university, I believe?
Yeah, she's at university, Oakland. So
Oakland University, yeah.
That's where she's in class, and we see this woman in a like a gown, like a hospital gown.
Hospital gown.
And I think this is like one of the creepiest parts of the film.
Yeah.
This is more of the longer chase scene where you actually see it. And I think that's why it's creepier, just because of the fact that this lady's walking in the halls, and those 2 girls that are talking there at the top of like in the hallway don't see her. And obviously, it's scary just in that aspect. Like, Jay's the only one that can see this chick, and it's kind of scary.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, and especially since she's the only one who could see it. So the girls that were sitting in the hallway probably think she's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find where it is. So then I think I'm skipping some, but then we find out what Greg's real name is, which is Jeff Redman.
Yeah, but the other part was, I believe that's where I think Jay's sisters kind of want to help her kind of spend the night in the same house, pretty much to try to like see if they can help her out in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the one where she's with Paul, and there's a broken window. And obviously we hear this broken window, and we're thinking, okay, what the heck's going on? It's very random, but he doesn't see anybody. So we're thinking, oh, crap, this doesn't sound good. And that's where we see the one girl that's coming down, like peeing on herself and all that stuff, walking towards her.
Yeah.
And she kind of like bails out because she's like completely creeped out.
The
really creepy ones when that really tall guy with no eyes comes in.
Yeah, behind the door.
That's super creepy. So she has 2 people chasing her, which is kind of different. It's the first time we see that too.
Well, I I don't really think it's two people. I think it's just this entity can change to
Yeah.
different people.
Yeah.
So that's what's scary, is that you're not sure which one it could be at the time.
Yeah. Well, because it was the girl, then you know what I mean. I'm thinking maybe it was a possible two. I don't know because it was the that girl that was peeing on herself, and then and then we see the other guy. So it was kind of creepy. That's the first time we see that. That's where she
Mhm.
runs and makes a beeline to the playground, where she ends up just kind of hanging out on the swing until her friends get there.
And then the one thing I did find weird is when Jay is riding the bike to
The
the
park.
park,
Yeah.
the camera randomly cuts to two people in the car, and like it holds that image for a long while.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what I know you're talking about that couple that's smoking, I think.
Yeah,
Um, I think the point of that was maybe just I don't know. I guess they were just doing a different angle. I don't know why because we don't really see those characters aren't really important in the film. So
yeah.
don't know why we see. I don't know really why we see them like that.
I mean, we see, I guess, the boyfriend in the car. He
Yeah,
becomes the main character, but the girl is nowhere to be found after this.
yeah, which is kind of random, but yeah,
Yeah, what are you gonna do? So then,
this is where we find
um,
Greg's Hugh's real name.
yeah. So the group discovers Hugh's real name, which is Jeff Redmond, and they trace him to his address. Jeff's mom enters the door, and Jay realizes that the naked woman she has seen coming in the Peckard plant was the form of Miss Raymond. So I guess at the very beginning of the film, that's who she saw.
Okay, yeah, that was his mom, I guess. She looked a lot older though.
Hmm.
So
Well,
yeah,
granted, I think this takes place a little bit after, because I think it's been a few years after the incident or whatever.
I would buy maybe her grandma. I'm reading it too. It says it's his the mom, but yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So then Jeff explains the entity began pursuing him after a one night stand, and that Jay could pass it on to somebody in the same way.
Oh wait, the Packard plant. Okay, that's when she was tied to the chair, and
Out the
that.
chair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Never mind then. She was a younger girl. I'm thinking of the grandmother
Not
esque type figure.
not
Okay,
the one at the school.
yeah, that makes sense then. Okay, yeah, I just read that wrong.
But then so this is where they go to the family lake house, and um Greg teaches Jay how to shoot a revolver, which does not come into play until later on, like towards the very end of the movie.
Yeah, which I mean, and then obviously we see like it work. Like you can shoot and hit them, but it doesn't really stop them. I
Yeah.
mean, so
Again, harkening back to Michael Myers and Friday
yeah,
the 13th, like you can kill him, but you can't actually kill it.
yeah. So it's the, I guess it's that yeah, it's that threat that you have that's coming towards you, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's really a callback to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then so they go to the lake house. He teaches Jay how to shoot a revolver. And then the entity arrives in the form of, is it Yara?
Yara, yeah. Yara is one of the girls in the film, played by Olivia Lucardi, I believe.
I think it's her sister, isn't it?
Yara, yeah, I'm thinking so. And that's the other thing. I think it's and the entity usually goes to the people that you know. You'll actually know
Hmm.
those people, so it's not like it's a complete stranger. You'll kind of know who they are. It's not like it's a complete random person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's pretty much where we see she kind of shoots her in the head. Um, but
So
yeah,
then,
then
after,
takes a form of a boy that lives next to her after.
yep. And then Jay flees and grabs carpet, crashes into a cornfield, and then wakes up in the hospital with, I guess, a broken arm, they said.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I believe Jay passes it to Greg in the hospital room. They have sex.
Yep.
Um,
And for some reason, like again, some of the camera panning was a little weird because like it focuses so much on Paul's reaction to this,
yeah.
like it holds like a weird.
Now this next scene's kind of creepy. Is the fact that Jay's looking out the window and she can see somebody walking up to Greg's house. We see the same exact situation kind of happen. He like knocks on the door a couple times, which I thought was kind of funny. He was being courteous, I guess.
Yeah.
Nobody answered, and then he decides to throw something through the window and hop through the window. And then that's where she's like, the oh crap moment happens. So she has to hurry up and try to go over to Greg's because she, I think, knows what's going on. She tries
Mhm.
calling Greg. Greg doesn't obviously answer the phone because why would you in a scary movie? And then she goes in. She happens to catch just right when she's knocking on the door.
It's Greg's mom.
Why she didn't yell and say, "Don't answer the door" real loud before he answered the door. She had plenty. She had a little bit of opportunity to yell at him, but she
Well,
didn't.
granted, like it took a couple of knocks, like loud knocks, to get his attention.
So he was probably sleeping, is what I'm guessing. It just makes sense that he was sleeping because that's why he didn't answer the phone too.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where if she should have said something, "Hey, it's me, blah blah blah. Don't answer the door, please. Don't answer the door." Like she does it, but it's too late by the time she does it. He already that door already starts opening by the time she even gets it in out of her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we see the entity just hop on top of him, I guess, and kill him or like have sex with him or whatever. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, considering it was his mom half naked, that that wasn't weird at all.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
um, so then, all right. So we talked about Greg getting killed. So
Yeah.
Jay flees in a car and spends the night outdoors on the beach.
So now that this also means that Jay now is the one that it's going after because Greg is dead, and now it's back to Jay. So this is where the thing goes backwards now. It goes back to who passed it.
Mm-hmm.
Greg had it originally, and then Greg died, so it's back to Jay now. It's back to Jay's.
Yeah, that's where the rules kind of got confusing because I thought it always went in a linear line from all right, so now it's at Jay, then it went to Greg,
It,
now it went to the guy before Greg, and then the guy before.
well, no, the thing is, it went from Jay. Jay passed it to Greg in the hospital.
That's
Well,
right.
when Greg dies, obviously it reverts back to who gave it to Greg, which was Jay, and that's why they're
That's
after.
right. That's right. Now it makes sense. Okay. Um. So on the beach, Jay sees three young men on a boat. She undresses and walks to the water. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, that I don't understand. Is that like I don't know if that's the moment where she realizes water could potentially hurt this thing. You can't get you on the water, maybe. I don't know. Like that scene really is
But
very
I mean,
head
that
scratching.
doesn't make any sense either because it like at the end of the movie we see the entity pulling her leg up under the water.
Yeah, I don't know, but it doesn't start out in the water is what I'm saying. So I don't know if
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Um. So then, speaking of the ending, we well then Jay um walks back home. Jay refuses Paul's offer for sex, which that was kind of funny. Like I like the character interactions between Paul and Jay.
Yeah, because they're like pretty much childhood friends. They've known each other for a long time. They hang out, they watch movies together at the
Yeah.
house, and their relationships kind of like that was, I believe, their first kiss was each other.
Yeah.
And they have that relationship. You can kind of feel that they've known each other for a long time, and really, it's like Paul's basically just trying to help out. He's like, "Listen, you know, I'll take it from you. Let's just,
But come on.
yeah, I'll take it from you that way you don't have to worry about it."
Come on. He's a teenage boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he would try to do it even if it wasn't, dire situation.
Yeah.
But then the whole ending happens at is it a gym pool?
Yeah, it was a gymnasium pool, yeah.
So,
They basically
Jay
they
gets
set
in the pool.
yeah, yeah.
She spots the entity and realizes that it takes the appearance of her father. But instead of entering the pool, the entity just, I guess, throws like electrical devices in the water, which that's the thing I don't understand. Like, how did she not get electrocuted? I mean, she got hit by most of those appliances.
I think but I think when they threw them, I think they unplug? It's either that, or I'm guessing just because it was such a huge surface area, that I think the fact that it went into the pool really didn't do anything, just because of the fact it was like a small electronic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Would it like? I'm saying if it was like a giant, if it was like obviously in a bathtub, if someone drops a toaster in a bathtub, they can like kill themselves, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm saying with this one, I think it's just because it's such a wider surface area.
It
It's a
like spreads out.
huge pool, so I don't think it doesn't have the capability or power, I guess. That's why
Mhm.
they obviously put in multiple electronics, because they kind of wanted to throw it all, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, and that has to do with the surface area of the pool.
So then after that, Paul tries to shoot the entity, accidentally clips, is it Yara?
Yeah, he accidentally shoots Yara.
Yeah. And then they have an idea to put like a blanket, I guess, over the head of the entity to kind of figure out where it is, because, you know, I guess Jay told him in what directions he sees them. They
Yeah.
put the blanket over the head of the entity, and then Paul shoots it in the head, supposedly killing it, which this ending I actually really do love, because,
Yeah.
again, harkening back to the 80s, like Unstoppable Machines, is that they go home, you see that Jay and Paul are about to have sex, they have sex, and then you see, I forgot what it was. It was that's when Paul drives past the prostitutes in the speedy part of town, and then Jay and Paul walk down the streets holding heads, and the figure is following them from behind that you can clearly see.
Yeah. So
Far behind.
yeah, and like they make mention of the prostitutes. They pass the prostitutes in a part of town, which again is another thing where it's like, well, you could have easily given it to the prostitutes. You know what I mean? I mean, if that was the case, but I don't.
Yeah.
Obviously, they don't show anything, so I guess that's. I really doubt that he would go with Jay and Paul together, and Paul's like, oh, I'm gonna go have sex with the prostitute and pass it on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm guessing that they just did that as one of those. I guess symbolic. I guess that you could have done that, and maybe it would have been easier just to do it like that.
Yeah. But the way I see it, though, is like, how do I put this? I guess Jay wasn't as, or Paul wasn't as experienced,
Yeah.
and that you can tell he really does love Jay, and Jay loves him back. It's more of that let's fight this together instead of just passing it on, and let's, you know, because they know it's going to come back eventually.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's really no escaping this after a while.
Yeah, and like I said, I do enjoy the ending.
Yeah, I do too, because again, harkens back to, you can kill the entity, but it's never fully gone.
Yeah, and that's the creepiest part about the film. I think that's why it works just because of that.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and give your closing thoughts and then a rating at the end.
Yeah, overall, I just appreciated the different direction it went. It was something that took the horror genre, twisted it around a little bit, and just made it its own. It was something that wasn't, yeah, it called back a little bit of specifics there to other films from prior, but again, like we talked about in Scream, horror movies do that. They borrow things from the past to make something different. I appreciate the difference with the sexually transmitted
Demon?
pretty much a sexually transmitted demon that you know what I mean. That's scary in itself, just because of the fact that, especially with the demographic of teenagers are always, mostly sexually active, and it's just one of those things where it just makes sense for it to be like that. And I think it's chilling that you never really see the killers or killer. You know what I mean? That's kind of unsettling. It's just it takes a shape. And that's scary in itself. And I appreciate it from that. Overall, I would probably rate the movie. I'd throw it maybe like 4 out of 5, just because, I mean, it's far from perfect, but it's a good film and it's unique in that way. And I think that merits at least a 3.5, 4 out of 5. I had fun with it. It was one of those films you could revisit and catch different things. It's a short film, so it goes by rather quickly. And overall, I just really like the direction that it went. Like I said, it was it's not as predictable as other horror movies, and I appreciate it being different, it trying to stand alone on its own. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo a lot of things you said. This movie is very unique, it's got a very unique premise, and the premise works well as a warning sign, which is what I love. It has its light moments. It has kind of a like early 80s comedy element to it. But overall, this movie was creepy, but it wasn't scary. Like it didn't chill me to the bone like most horror movies do.
Yeah.
This one was a very intense, a very psychological type movie.
Yeah.
Like it definitely had its creepy moments, but overall, this is all about the characters, and I love the characters. So I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5. All right, so why don't you do the honors and tell them what the next Halloween horror review is going to be?
Yeah, I think we were tossing around. I have two favorite scary movies. Like they're pretty much neck and neck. I'm so indecisive, so I can't pick. And obviously, we do Notorious by Chance. My buddy Chance Ellis and I do a podcast, so I had to pick. I picked one, and I'm going to use the other one for this one. So we're going to do 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Hunter has never seen it, which is even better, just because of the fact I can kind of like really deep dive talk about it because I know a lot about the film. I love the film. I mean, just a classic. It's so iconic. Robert Englund obviously is Freddy Krueger, and the other iconic thing about it is he played Freddy Krueger in every single film thereafter. And just so iconic. The film, just the way it's set, it really helped really catapult Wes Craven to the 80s. And it's an iconic film, and I'm really glad we're going to be talking about it. Like I said, one of my all-time favorites, Halloween, scary movies, because it's necessary. It's one of those ones you got to watch every year, and hopefully it'll pass the torch to you to appreciate it and watch it every year too.
Oh, I bet I will. But if you guys didn't know, his other favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween. And I'm going to try to get a group of us together at the very end, maybe on like the 30th, and do a deep dive, full spoiler discussion of Halloween on Halloween night.
Yeah.
Just seems perfect.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. And we're actually seeing, my wife and I are going tomorrow because the theater around us is getting the 40th anniversary of the 1978. So we're seeing it tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Which I'm excited about because I've seen it once in the drive-in theater, which was great because we went for it was for Halloween time, and they did a back-to-back. Like they do this. And this is when our daughter was younger, so we could get away with watching that. Not so much now because she's 3. But I remember the first year I think we went and saw it. It was Friday the 13th with Evil Dead. This one with the original Evil Dead. The one that we went to a couple years ago was 1978's Halloween, followed by Nightmare on Elm Street, which was perfect because I was just in my glory.
Oh, wow.
My two favorite films. It was like I think $9 to get in for both of them, so like it was cheap, and you get to watch it outside in that fall element. It was perfect. And like I said, those are just two of my all-time favorites. I can't. There's so much from both of them that I just appreciate and love so much. I really can't. Chance obviously loves Psycho. And it's a great film. I obviously revisited it. But to me, these two are the ones that just always stand there for me. So I'm glad to be talking about Elm Street, and I'm glad that we're going to be doing Halloween on the podcast and do Halloween here too. I always have words to say about the film, so always looking forward to talking about these guys.
And then, of course, October 19th is when the 2018 reboot comes out. That Monday, I want that to be one of our Halloween horror reviews as well. Just to kind of compare both of them.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Like I said, I'm probably going to go see it that Thursday night, kind of tentatively what I was going to do, and throw a review up on my page that night because I gotta jump on it when you can.
Oh, yeah.
But Thursday, I think, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to see that next Thursday.
Nice. So, yes, next week is A Nightmare on Elm Street, which I cannot wait to watch that movie for the first time. I've always been looking forward to watching it. I just haven't had the motivation to watch it, I guess.
Man,
but now
you're in for it, man. It's such a go in. Don't go in with just set your expectations in the middle. The movie's a classic, and it works. I think Freddy Krueger is such an iconic killer. Just Robert
Mhm.
Englund really embraces the role of Freddy Krueger. He really makes it his own, and just the sheer fact of just him, how he looks, how he talks, it's so menacing and scary. I grew up watching these films, so like
Yeah.
really love the Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, some of the movies obviously thereafter were kind of, you know, quirky and whatever. But I just appreciate. I guess it's just because that nostalgia, because I grew up
Mhm.
watching it. Why that movie still works now, you know, 34 years later, it still works.
Yeah. And actually, fun fact before we head out, um, I was at Dallas Comic Con one year,
Okay.
and they had a 30th anniversary Nightmare on Elm Street panel. So I got to meet Wes Craven. I got to meet Robert Englund. I got to meet is it Heather?
Heather Langenkamp plays
Yep.
Nancy. Yeah.
Like just the whole crew, like minus Johnny Depp. But
And you never saw that movie, dude. I feel so. I wish you would have seen it when you went in there to it. You
I
know,
know.
you'd have
But
a
like,
deeper appreciation of these guys. I think.
oh yeah, I mean, I had seen some Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I knew obviously of Robert Englund and all of them. I just haven't watched the movie fully yet. But going in there, like seeing the panel, they did a huge Q&A. They showed like clips from the movie. It was a great experience, and I actually got to go up there and talk with Wes Craven. I got to ask him some questions during the Q&A, which was just amazing.
So wait, it was Dallas Comic Con with all those guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Dallas Comic Con, like they had a huge panel, and then right after they had a Walking Dead panel, which I went to as well.
I mean, I would have been more. I never got into Walking Dead, honestly, but
Me neither, but just being there and seeing the cast and stuff.
God, that'd been really really cool to do the. Did you get any pictures with anybody?
No, but I got to like you're allowed to take pictures while they're
Oh,
up
you
there.
have to pay for the other ones, though, huh?
Yeah, but I got like photos of like Robert Englund doing his like he came out in full Freddy Krueger makeup
Awesome.
and did the entire speech and everything like that. And you had Wes Craven sitting right next to him, so it was a moment that I will never forget.
Yeah, I mean it's iconic, and now you know with Wes Craven's passing a couple years ago, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely something that'll always stay with you for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right, so let's go on and do plugs. Russ, where do people find you?
yeah. How's Hollywood Reviews on YouTube? Do movie reviews, trailer reactions, all that fun stuff. I'm really gonna try to amp up the change. I've been wanting to change the channel. I just don't know how. I don't know what to add. I don't know what to do. If you guys check the channel out, throw some comments on my way to maybe help add different things to the mix of things for my page. Like I said, I just do current movies, current movie reviews, and stuff like that. Nothing crazy.
You
Also,
also have in classic reviews as well.
and that I really want to start trying to do that. That's something I've been really trying to like stress, and I might start that with maybe hopefully Halloween here. Kind of jumps the gun here. I'm hoping, because I also saw the 50th anniversary of 2001: A Space Odyssey,
Ooh.
which one day I'd like to talk to Chance about or whatever if we ever get a show on that. But yeah, also I do a podcast, Notorious by Chance. Really, really loving the direction this is going. It's a weekly podcast where my buddy Chance Ellison and I we throw a poll up and we have people vote on it. So if you guys are with Facebook, check it out, Notorious by Chance. Every week we have a poll. This week is we have a poll. It is the worst Stephen King film, and it's pretty much already been called. It's already been called that Maximum Overdrive is going to win.
Maximum Overdrive is one of the worst.
I mean, we had Thinner, we had Dreamcatcher, Sleepwalkers, and Lawnmower Man.
Sleepwalkers is very entertaining. I'll give it that.
And that's who Chance was thinking it was going to win. I thought Dreamcatcher was going to win just because I remember seeing that movie in the theaters being so underwhelmed because the previews made this movie look so awesome and so scary. And I just remember being so like, I can't believe I watched this film.
They literally call them shit weasels.
Yeah, it's like one of those things I'm like, yeah, I thought for sure it was a shoo-in to win, but obviously Maximum Overdrive won. But that's what we do. We do different things. And we put it up to the poll, which is always fun because any movie that Chance and I usually want to win or think's going to win, it goes completely the opposite way. But yeah, it's something interactive. If you guys love movies, go check it out. I mean, we do this whole month is dedicated to horror films and franchises and movies in general, just because of Halloween. I mean, absolutely love the season. I love Halloween. Love scary movies, and I love the fact that we did this. We have some things in the works for November already. We've kind of set some topics, but it's a great channel. It's a great, it's a podcast wherever you can find podcasts. Download it. Subscribe to it, 5-star comment it if you can. Anything you can do to help the channel grow. Yeah, and pretty much anywhere to find me talking about movies. I love talking movies with you, wherever. I love talking movies, and I think it's important that people know about movies and know about different films that they may or may not check out ever. And I think it's important. I think it's fun. It's that community that we build. Well, even with trivia and stuff like that. So I love anything movies. I'm just glad to be a part of.
Yep. So speaking of trivia, you and me have a Warzone match coming out in what? Late November, I believe.
Yeah, it's December. They're filming it in a couple weeks. You said, I think it was one of those things where, yeah, they're filming it in a couple weeks. I believe it's a hectic couple weeks for myself. I know myself and Matt Queller, my new tag partner. We have a #1 contenders match coming up for worldwide or whatever it's going to be.
Going down, Russ.
Moving forward, we're playing Nazario and Mike Hanley.
Ooh.
It's going to be a great match. Really looking forward to those two good guys, two good competitors. I've played both of them. I've been on the opposite side of both of them. Nazario and I, 2 close matches, lost both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then with Mike Hanley, I played him back in the original There Will Be Trivia days when season 2 was out. I think I lost to him on Last Question. So I have history with both of these guys. Really looking forward to seeing what Matt Queller and I can do together. Not 100% like sure of his what he can do and what, because we haven't really competed much together, but he's a great competitor.
Your team name is Notorious Chaos, right?
Yeah, his nickname was Chaos. I wanted to kind of keep. I really want to just kind of keep the name. I really didn't see myself ever changing it, and I just thought it works. So I'm like, let's just do it like that. I'm just take it and move a different generation, a different. I guess, pass the baton from Notorious Chance to Notorious Chaos now, and just kind of see if we can, do the name proud. And I'm just really hoping we can win that one, get a #1 contender shot against Paul Yama and Michael Campbell, which I think would be a great match. They know their shit, and I think it would be a great match, especially because we're all part of the same faction. I thought that'd be kind of cool too. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, and you guys can find me over at Multiplex Entertainment playing a lot of trivia. You guys can, if you enjoyed these reviews, hit that like button, subscribe to Filmnerdtv below. We are doing Halloween horror reviews every week in the month of October. So if there's a movie that you guys think we should review, message us or comment below and tell us what movie you guys want to see. Again, next week is A Nightmare on Elm Street. That should be so much fun. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.